Damari Alston is no longer with Auburn football, and Hugh Freeze called me directly to clarify his comments. Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us all, turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Kyle Rush, publisher at The Barn, to talk a little Auburn football. Kyle, as we're recording this, it's been a wild 72 hours for Auburn football. We've had press conferences, we've had officiating controversies, we've had Hugh Freeze talking to the media about a great many things, not the least of which is his star running back leaving the program. On today's show, we'll talk about Damari Alston's decision to redshirt and what that means for Auburn football. And in the second half, we'll talk about what that means for Auburn's running back room. Let's start at the top here. Damari Alston decided that he wanted to redshirt, and the program decided that they wanted to move on. So there were reports that were breaking on social media that he quit the team, which is not the way Damari would would categorize what he did. But my sources tell me that he wanted to continue to practice with the team through the end of the year, but preserve the year of eligibility, given how this season is going. What do you? Let me just, before we get to what Coach Freeze said to me. What do you think about the decision by Damari to want a red shirt this year?
So, from a personal standpoint, it makes total sense. He started off the year as the starting running back, had a good game against Baylor, got hurt, then lost his starting job to Jeremiah Cobb, who has been really, really good. As he's gotten more healthy, he's gotten a few more snaps. But once you pass that 4-game threshold, and this is his senior year, once you pass that 4-game threshold, this is it. So if you feel like you can't unseat the guy in front of you, from a personal standpoint, it makes total sense to do it. As a team captain, it's tough. It's a tough look. And I know that we throw around that. Before I say what I'm about to say, you got to understand that what I'm about to say does not mean that I think that everything's going well. Okay. Doesn't mean I think everything's going well and everything's perfect, but I think it's tough we throw around that Q word like it's a curse word. And I don't know any other definition of quitting than I cease to do what I've been doing. And that is what is happening. He's ceasing to be the second guy off the bench, or the first guy off the bench as far as running back goes. So I don't know why we throw that word around like it's like we try to bend the meaning of it. In my opinion, it's quitting. It is what it is. You're a team captain, and you lost your job and you quit. It's fine. It's part of football these days. Like, that's part of it. You got to look out for yourself, but they're paid now, and it's part of it. I think it's kind of far-fetched to think I can just practice and still get all the money that I was given to perform, and then just not perform and everything stay the same. That doesn't really work anywhere else across, like, in any field, I don't think so.
I think to kind of summarize, this is a business on both sides now. Right. It used to be just a business on one side, and then we decided that payers would get played, but the ultimate dream is still to go pro, and you need tape to do that. For how it's going so far this season, though, great game he had versus Baylor. He gets hurt. He's been somewhat injury prone since he's been at Auburn. I think, coming into the season, I said the key for Damari is going to be staying healthy. He gets hurt, and it feels like, he never really returned from that in a sense. But, Kyle, I got to tell you, the way it's been going for the running backs since SEC play started, there haven't been a lot of carries to go around, period. Not for the running backs, there haven't. Versus Oklahoma, Damari had, 2 carries? No, he had 7 carries.
7 carries against Oklahoma.
Jeremiah
had 2
had
against Texas A&M.
He had six for Jeremiah. 2 and 9 again at Texas A&M, or 2 and it was single digits.
2 at Texas A&M,
but they're not. These running backs aren't getting double-digit carries, even versus Georgia. Only 9 carries for 12 carries for Jeremiah Cobb, 7 for Damari. But Jackson Arnold with 13. uh, I I feel like all this is harder when you're losing.
Oh,
It's one
totally.
it's one thing
Like,
to not get the carries. It's another thing to not get the carries while you're losing, and the running backs don't seem to be getting the ball. Like total, they had less than 20 carries versus Georgia. The running backs did collectively. So while he's playing snaps, I don't know if I don't know that Jeremiah is really getting an opportunity to get in the rhythm of the game either. The way they're calling it, but it's how the running game in general is going right now that I think that adds to the frustration here. Now, as far as redshirting is concerned, this has been a topic of conversation since the beginning of time.
yeah.
Do I save the year? Do I not? Like, it is. If you have a dream of playing every player is here. At some point, it feels like unless you're the guy. And
Yeah.
if you're Cam Coleman, it just doesn't matter where you go. Everywhere you go, you're going to be the guy. No one is going to keep Cam Coleman off the field.
Right.
If you're Damari, you're not quite in that tier where he'll transfer and he would be guaranteed that spot at another school. So this is a very, very tough decision, I think. But who knows how this will work out for Damari? The end of the year could get here, and we could see changes in Auburn football that could see him come back or just continue to go someplace else. The players have never had more power than they have right now,
Mhm.
and he's exercising it. So it is what it is. I do take a little bit of issue with the connotation of quitting in a sense that like he's giving up on his team mates
How else do you
on his
say it though?
teammates rather than just doing what he feels like is in his best interest because when the rubber meets the road, Kyle, like okay, you named me team captain, that's great, but does that mean that you can dictate my career? I allow you to dictate my career. As my coach, my career
Well,
path trajectory is in your hands.
is the coach is the coach dictating the trajectory of his career, or did an unfortunate situation happen and a guy's playing better than him?
I think that again, I don't think that him starting is the issue though. I think the issue is
Mm,
just how the running game is going in general. I don't
if he got 12 or 13 carries against Georgia, do you think he go and do you
100%
think he
I
go?
think it's the same thing. Yeah,
I
100% I
don't.
think it's
There's
the
no
same thing.
way.
I
If
don't
he's
think there are enough carries to go around for these two at right now.
so
Period.
let me go back. Let me go back. If if he doesn't get injured, he's the starting guy, okay? And Jeremiah never gets the chance to get more carries than him. And he's getting the bulk of the carries, even if it's a small bulk, whatever. We're not running a ton of plays either. So hopefully in the second half we can start getting some first downs, and then maybe we'll be able to run some more plays and then get some more touches. But if he's the lead guy, you think he still goes into the portal after the Georgia game?
Yeah, I do because again, as we said, 7 carries at Texas A&M, 6 for Jeremiah. That one more carry, I don't think means a flip to him. Auburn is not like this is not go and you're losing, right? So it is pretty
Well, that would be
difficult.
even worse. That would be even worse if you're the starting guy and you leave. I think that would be even an even
Yeah,
bigger
yeah, for sure.
reflection of yourself,
Well, I don't
personally.
again, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. So I don't, Jarquez Hunter was the guy last year, and there's not a single person that won't tell you that he was underutilized last year.
Right.
Uh, but he was nobody questioned Jarquez, and he was still. I mean, it was he was just on the right side of that number of carries where you could say keep him happy. I think if he were getting the amount of carries Damari is getting right now, or Jeremiah is getting right now, he'd be unhappy.
He'd be
So,
unhappy. He wouldn't quit. He wouldn't leave the team though.
I don't know.
There's no precedent for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think
It's always the guy that's not playing. Like that, let's call it what it is. Like he's not playing as much as he thinks he should play. I don't think it has much to do with touches at all. Like Jeremiah, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, Damari probably would have gotten 0 touches in that game. Jeremiah's the guy. Like he's the guy. Like he has become a feature running back, for whatever you want to call a feature running back in Hugh Freeze's offense. Like I don't think it's really that much deeper than that. And he's he's going to save that year of eligibility, and that's fine. That's part of it. But like, you have to understand, like, it is quitting. Like, you are a team captain, and it is quitting, and that's fine though. Like, but you have to, like, it just is what you have to call it what it is. Like that, there's no other definition for it.
Yeah, in a very technical sense, yes. Again, the connotation though, like the spirit behind when I think about quitting, right? It's not what Damari's doing. I think about something very different. His teammates seem to be very understanding of his situation, and Coach Freeze even wanted to clarify, which is
Sure.
what we need to get to, right? I received a call from Coach Freeze tonight,
Yeah.
clarifying that he's been a model teammate, that his character is not being impugned here, and that up to this point there had been zero issues with Damari, anything he's done or said.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I think until he got here, he's handled himself with integrity. And Coach Freeze was uncomfortable with the idea that anything he said might have implied anything otherwise or about
Yeah.
Damari's character.
What he said would imply a violation of team rules. Typically, when you say he didn't uphold our standards,
Standards, yes.
that would inadvertently, maybe, that would imply to a lot of people, without knowing the full context, that he violated rules. And I'm glad he wanted to correct that. But I think even if you're not doing a good job, I think you have the right to be upset about this situation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I think he has every right to be upset about one of the captains.
Well, he doesn't think it's the right decision for Damari.
Yeah,
Obviously, he doesn't think it's the right decision, and
sure.
that's two men that need to talk that out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, if you're Damari, you have to make the decision about whether you trust how you feel or you trust what the coach is telling you. And there are hundreds of players every single day that are in that same position. Do I
Hmm.
trust what they're telling me? Someone who was here during the Tuberville era, filming every practice, Kyle, I can tell you those conversations happened a lot,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of trust between the players and the staff. The story that always stands out to me is Ben Grubbs, played D line his whole high school career. He gets to Auburn, and they tell him, put on 20 pounds and switch to offensive line, and you'll play 9, 10 years in the NFL. And when they told him that, he thought about quitting football. I
Wow.
played defense my whole life, and Hugh Nall and those guys got a hold of him, and the trust that he had to put in them to switch positions was great. He did it, and he did, man. He had a long, very successful NFL career that most people would pray for. So,
Yeah.
if that trust, but there were other guys during that era that would probably tell you that the trust wasn't there, and but they didn't have as much power to transfer then as they do now. So it was harder because you had to go like JUCO and come back, or you had to be willing to sit out a year. They're not faced with that now, and so the decision looks a little different now. But I'm telling you, the trust that you had to have back then to do something like that was great. And
Mm.
for what it's worth, when you're losing, I'm just not sure that trust exists between this coach and some of those players. I hope that they can build that at some point. But clearly, Damari made the decision he wanted to make, and Hugh Freeze did what he thought was in the best interest of the team, and both sides are going to move on here.
Yeah.
Messaging matters, though. I will rest on that, and I put the burden of that messaging on the people who have statements prepared for them and
Yeah.
have to go. It's part of the job, man.
Definitely saying he didn't uphold the standards. That was probably a rough choice of words. Even though I would say it might be fitting, if you're talking about a team captain, um, you know, leaving the team. That maybe that's not upholding a standard. Even if I just don't. I don't know that
Well,
implies, if you don't know all the context,
correct. Yes.
that implies team violations, and that is a shot at um, personal character. So I'm glad he clarified
Yeah,
that.
sometimes I don't understand why they don't just add the context of saying, "Hey, Damari wanted to take a red shirt," but we're all talking about it now. So why
Yeah.
not just say that? Like, he wanted to take a red shirt. We felt like it was the wrong decision, but if our captain wants to red shirt, we feel like it's in the best interest of himself and the team that he's no longer with the team, and then you move on from it. And then nobody's character has to be impugned. And I think
Yeah.
both sides come out better. But again, like, they don't always get it right on their end.
Sure.
And that's why we're media, because we're here to lambast them when they get it wrong, Kyle. Uh,
Exactly.
but look,
Exactly.
What does this mean for Auburn's running back room? Who's number 2? Darrell Robinson. We got a report on him today. We'll talk about that
Sort
right
of.
after a quick word from our sponsors, our friends at Abel's Iron Moore and Associates. We always encourage our listeners to support our sponsors. That includes AMA. And I know some of you might think, I have enough money for a financial advisor, or maybe it hasn't crossed your mind at all. But the truth is, nearly everyone can benefit from financial guidance. The best part, no upfront costs. Abel's I Know More and Associates offers an initial consultation so you can see if they're the right fit for you. It's not just about investing, it's about creating a plan that gives you flexibility and helps you build wealth over time for yourself and for your family. Call AMA at 912-777-4128 or visit aiminc.com today. I'm confident you'll be glad you did. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's I Know More and Associates for this endorsement. AMA is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Also want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Need a smoke shop that's always close by? Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City. Whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, rolling along Victory Drive, or making a pit stop on the bypass, they've got a spot ready for you. From vapes to tobacco and everything in between, Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. Swing through today. Chances are they're already on your way. Want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. Our guy Richard, longtime sponsor of the show. So if you've got some traditional ailments that might require some non-traditional remedies, the Rogue Shop could be the place for you. Again, visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT today. They're dropping a little something extra in there for everybody. Dropping that code. Last but certainly not least, want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, the Vibe Vault has you covered. My guy Steve Watkins serving up fresh cuts for the communities, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Let's jump back into our conversation here. The running back room looks a little different now.
For sure.
If you're Jeremiah Cobb, you just maybe picked up another 5 or 6 carries a game, potentially. But who's number 2? Now, I will tell you, I spoke with Damari before the season, and he told me Omar was a dog.
Yeah.
He stressed that
He's going to have to be now.
Yeah. He stressed that he would play this year. I don't know if he knew he would be giving his carries directly to Omar when he told me that. But he had a lot of confidence. His teammates have a lot of confidence in Omar. What do you think, man? Darrell Robinson, did a little running around out at practice, but he had a freak injury that was a little scary, but seems to be recovering from. And Damari leaving the program, that's a lot of experience that walks out the door on game day, right? And so you're losing what is really a 1B type running back in Damari Alston. You feel like there's another 1B type running back in this running back room?
To me, one of the bigger things is Damari in pass blocking. I think that was one of the things he was getting better at, especially as he got more healthy. So you got to go with Omar. It's not because really other reason than he's the only one you got to turn to that's got any experience. Alvin Henderson's been on scout team. So you would have to, I imagine they're more than likely going to pull him off of scout team and get him some reps until Darrell is healthy, if he comes back at all. I'll tell you what, hearing him run versus what I saw him doing 2 weeks ago is a good sight. That's a good thing to hear. It means maybe, if he's healthy, it's a totally different conversation because he definitely has some talent. But yeah, you got to go to Omar and then hope you can kind of get the pass blocking deal, that responsibilities learned up really quick, because it's a big deal. Running backs being able to pick up blitzes. Damari picked up a big one in that game in the game early in the first half that I think led to a big completion. So that's going to be a big thing that they're going to have to figure out really quickly.
Look, you've got to figure it out quickly. This is a 2-back minimum type game in college football today. If you don't have 2 backs that can do the job, you're asking for trouble. I think they've recruited well. Alvin Henderson is a guy who his teammates have described him as untackleable. Like, I'm so excited to see what he's going to do in the future.
Yeah.
But also, you see flashes from Jeremiah Cobb that
Yeah.
just, man, I'm telling you, dynamic running between the tackles here.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully, if you can get some more plays, I want to know how many carries he had in the first half and how many he had in the second half, because you only ran like what? You had you had 4 drives that ended in 5 plays or less, and 3 of them were 3 and out. So like you're not even really getting an opportunity to get rolling. I mean, Georgia's last drive was 17 plays. I think that was more, if you add it all up, that may be more than Auburn had for the whole second half. Like not counting that last drive, like the 4 opportunities they had. You got to be able to get first downs, and you got to be able to make adjustments at halftime. And if you do, everybody eats. If you get in these scenarios to where you can't move the ball, and you can't extend the game, and you can't move the chains, like everybody's going to be fighting for touches and nobody's going to be happy. So they got to figure out how to me, what's way more concerning is trying to figure out how to be able to make good adjustments in the second half, so that you can get more guys opportunities.
Yeah, look, more opportunities. Again, we talked about this in the first half. I think is the name of the game
Yep.
for Hugh Freeze and Auburn football. They've got to get it right. Auburn starting 0-3 in SEC play for the first time in forever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was 3 really hard games, and it was always what was considered to be. You and I talked about this schedule in the lead up to the season every single week, and how you got to survive. You got to get 1 out of those first 3. Well, they went 0 for in the first
Yeah.
3. And now every game is mission critical
Yeah.
here on into the end of the season. There was one thing I did want to talk about, kind of off script, from running backs at the end of the press conference. I got a second question. I got to ask Coach Freeze about any conversations he's had with the league about the calls in these games. Kyle, I'm not sitting here telling you the officials are the reason Auburn is where they're at right now, but I will tell you they have played a role. And while Auburn may be a little closer to the line offensively than we would have liked, they absolutely tipped the needle in the Oklahoma game. Some of the explanations for the Georgia game, completely ridiculous. We just give Kirby Smart a do-over on a
Yeah.
play. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
And I've tried to see things. I always try to see things from like a, not necessarily a contrarian, but like try to put myself in the other person's shoes and understand the explanation. He was calling a timeout, period.
Clearly.
So regardless of if he was calling a timeout because one of our players was clapping, or if he tried to say, no, I wasn't calling a timeout, I was just clapping, it doesn't matter. He was calling a timeout. Like it's clear. Like everybody on the broadcast saw it. Everybody calling the game saw it. He was 100% calling a timeout. And then if he wants to say, I shouldn't have to call a timeout because they're clapping and they're not supposed to be clapping, you don't get your timeout back like with a good explanation. So now that's a precedent, man. If the clock's winding down, if you can just confuse the referees and say, no, I really wasn't calling a timeout, I guess you can just get a free play. I've never
Yeah.
seen that before. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously, that wasn't even the most egregious thing that happened in the game. The non-touchdown on the field by Jackson Arnold, like in every world, that should have been called a touchdown on the field, and they should have been forced to overturn that.
Yeah.
They let. I just don't understand it, man. I don't.
Let's talk about that for a second, even a little bit deeper. Okay. If they don't, I know Kirby touched the running back, so I know that could have been a penalty. If they didn't stop the play, that should have been a touchdown the other way. They stopped the play, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know if you stop the play, it has to be a touchdown the other way. Like, it's either a touchdown or a fumble return for a touchdown, or a fumble return for a touchdown the other way. It was like a fumble, and we don't know what to do. Like, we don't know. Did he fumble before? That we don't know what to call right here, and now we've let a whole play get screwed up. We got a coach touching a player and telling him to keep running, like that, and that could have been a penalty in and of itself. It was a complete disaster. Like, let's forget about the review part of it. Like, the handling of that situation in general was a disaster. I don't know how this keeps happening.
Yeah. If you're Jackson, devil's advocate,
Yeah.
you can't let go of that football, period.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've got to hold on to that football. I mean, when you are on the goal line, your one goal is to get the ball across the line without getting it poked out.
Yeah.
And so, as an experienced player, he's got to protect the football better. Two things can be true at one time. Number one, that was a touchdown. Number two, he's got to protect the football a little better down there. I mean, it's literally your only job is to protect the football down there. But you can't fumble it. And he did, and you ended up where you ended up. It just feels like there's some detail things that are being missed in critical points in games. Now, 3 games straight, Kyle, where Auburn is not able to execute at critical moments, or there's some blunder, or you're leaving your fate in the hands of the officials. Somehow, over these next 6 games, Hugh Freeze has got to get this program in a spot where they are not leaving their fate in the hands of the officials, because the SEC has shown you 3 games straight now they're not going to give you the call.
And you had the chance to not leave it in their hands, and you couldn't do it in the second half.
Yeah, look, man, 40 yards of offense
You're
in
in
the second half.
14. You're in 14 freaking plays.
That's
14 freaking plays in the second half. I'm not counting the last drive because we're down by 10 points, and that drive didn't even matter. You ran 14 plays when it matters. That's all you could get off.
Yeah,
that's awful. Like you can't win that way.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. Again, he
Yeah.
he said he spoke with Greg Sankey and the head of officiating and explained, and expressed his, how he felt like these are going. They don't always agree, but I do want to say a couple weeks ago, the SEC took the unprecedented
Yeah, they
step
did.
of not only admitting fault, but announcing that they were punishing the referees involved. So, once you take that step, you can't really walk that back and say, "Oh no, but we're doing a great job 99.91% of the time." No. You have blown this 3 games straight.
Yeah.
Where they've literally taken points off the board in games that Auburn is losing by a score. I can't, that would have changed. 17-0 would have been a very different prospect at halftime. Look, maybe they still find a way to lose the game, up 17-0. But subsequently, I watched the officials walk Georgia down the field for 3 points after that.
Yeah,
Just walk them down the field.
with a terrible roughing the passer call.
Oh my goodness, the worst call. I was at a loss for words at what I was watching here, and I'm like, in no way is that a roughing the passer.
Yeah,
absolutely awful. Look, man, I've got my issues with how this offense is being run, but I will say again, 2 things can be true at once. The offense could be better, but also they are getting jobbed, man, week after week here on critical plays that are either taking points off the board or putting points on the board for the other team.
The other team,
I just they've got to get this right. It just means more. Should mean more to the officials as well too. I think I saw Josh Pate tweet that Kirby Smart and Hugh Freeze had to go to their press conferences and explain how their players played, but the officials get to go home and say nothing.
You don't even really know that they exist. You don't know who the SEC referees are except for the white hat only when the broadcast team tells you who it is. Like, you don't get a roster. You don't know anything about them. They're just completely protected. You get fined a lot of times if you say stuff about them. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah. Well, look, hopefully there are less jokes this week versus Missouri.
Got to turn it around, man.
I mean, this has really turned into I thought Georgia was a must win, honestly, because you couldn't start 0-3 in the SEC, but this is a must win versus Missouri at home. I don't 100%. Care what they're ranked. I don't care how good you think they are. You've competed in every game. Your defense has played well enough in every single game to keep you in it. And if you had told me at the halfway point of the season, Auburn would not have given up more than 24 points to any opponent, I would have told you they'd probably be 6-0.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
It's a crazy thing to say. But here we are at 3-3 with every game going to be super critical. Before we get out of here, Kyle, the finishing schedule is Missouri at home, Arkansas on the road, Kentucky at home, Vanderbilt on the road, and then Mercer and Alabama at home. As I mentioned, the Missouri feels like a must win to me. Arkansas is definitely a must win. I don't think you can lose to Arkansas or Kentucky.
Mm.
Now, you can't lose either one of those games. You've got to win both of those and get Mercer. That gets you to a bowl game. And then still you're left with the prospect that if you don't beat Missouri or Alabama, you are not above 500 for a fifth year straight. That's
Yeah,
it's
that's
rough,
rough.
man. That's really rough. So he's got to pull out. He's going to have to at least pull one upset here from between now and the end of the season if Auburn is going to get to 7 wins.
Hey,
Let
you may
alone
close this. The betting line may close where it's not an upset to beat Missouri. Like they're favored right now. Like you got a better roster, in my opinion. You got a better roster than the next 5 teams you play. How about we do something with it and actually perform like you're supposed to perform?
Yeah, look, I've asked a couple questions about accountability and what that looks like. Hopefully, that looks like wins coming
Yeah,
down the stretch here. Kyle Rush, I want to thank you for joining me as always.
yeah,
Before we
man.
get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
Absolutely. Go to thebarnauburn.com. Sign up for our message board, and that's where you can get all the good content that we produce. So check us out there.
Guys, subscribe on YouTube as well too. They run a great daily show over there. We want to hear from you though. What do you guys think about Damari Alston leaving the program, Omar Mapson being RB2? Lots to talk about in that running back. Drop your comments, let us know what you're thinking. Also, tell us what you think about Coach Freeze's statement clarifying on Damari's character. I thought it was a class move for him to at least try to follow up and say, look, I'm not demeaning this young man as a person. So we'll see how that plays out down the road. While you're in the comment section, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, for you.